Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the TB&J podcast. With me today, as always, is Troy Brittingham.
And we are on time and filming as scheduled.
It's not filming, it's recording, because there's no...
Filming as scheduled.
There's no video component.
We aren't an hour and a half late.
I mean...
They won't know that, but...
No, they won't, because this podcast...
And also because we're on time.
Yeah, this podcast comes out the same time every Tuesday night, because I publish it, at night before I go to bed.
And also because we're on time.
Totally didn't fuck around for an hour talking about X-Wing.
We didn't.
Nope. Guys, we're here. It's just the two of us today, but we are here to talk about Mandalorian Chapter 19, The Convert, or the
You're right. You're correct.
Convert?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at me go. All right. TB&J! No D today, unfortunately. No Chris.
Fortunately.
TB&J! No, my fiance Red isn't even here right now.
Just a cat.
TB&J! My cat's somewhere. Sometimes when I crack the balcony door, she likes to go outside and sit on the porch and eyeball all the squirrels running around outside and the birds, and I'm always worried she's going to jump at one of them and I'm never going to see her again. But she likes hanging out or outside, and she does it all the time, and I haven't lost her yet, so she's just going to keep on doing her. All right, Troy, we watched Chapter 19, The Convert. This is Season 3, Episode 3.
Yep.
Thumbs up, thumbs down, bud.
Thumbs up.
I'm also a thumbs up. And here's why. This episode got weirdly dark.
Yeah.
Like, the last, 2 minutes were some of the darkest Star Wars I've seen in a while. And it landed. Instead of dark like Rogue One that didn't land because it fucking sucked.
I mean,
Hashtag not sorry.
I mean, I'll throw out an unpopular, a popular thing, but unpopular for you. There's more of this in Andor.
I'm sure there is more of this in Andor, but I hated Cassian Andor so much from Rogue One that just thinking about watching Andor just fills me with rage. And that's not even a joke. Like, thinking about watching Andor, I got that ad splash screen after the episode ended, and I was like, fuck no, I don't want to fucking watch that shit. It was like that level of emotion.
It's like more of this episode, but better.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's great. I can't watch it. I physically can't. There's like a thing inside me that won't let me hit the play button.
Deep inside of you?
Deep inside my being. I just can't watch it, man. Rogue One just fucking burned me so bad. It's such a bad movie. Man. Anyway, we're not here to talk about Rogue One. We're not. Even though every time we talk about Star Wars,
just putting
Rogue
that
One
out
seems
for the
to come
internet.
up. We know. No one cares. Just like no one cares that I hated Rogue One because everyone's like, oh, you're wrong. It's the best Star Wars. Shut the fuck up.
Well, I do know personally that if you don't like a thing that I like, it is a personal attack on my character. I will duel you.
You'll duel me?
Yeah.
Like swords?
Yeah, right out back after this episode, probably.
Do you want to grab like a bastard sword or a little rapier or a scimitar?
I mean, I think fencing is probably
a fencing sword.
Yeah, I think that's probably what we should do. I think that's sort of in our wheelhouse.
I'm really good at the windshield wiper move, where I just waggle it back and forth in front of me.
I think that was a pretty popular move back then. So.
Mandalorian convert. So we do get Mando is now fully redeemed. He returns to the armorer, and she's just like, "You are redeemed. This is the way." And then, coincidentally, Bo-Katan is also redeemed and welcomed into the coven of Mandalorians that are hiding from the rest of the world. And she doesn't seem to hate it, but it's also hard to tell.
Sure. Because
now she has the same problem Mando, or I guess Pedro Pascal has, where you're wearing the helmet, so I don't know what you're thinking or feeling all the time. So also, it could be anybody under that helmet when they're filming, and Pedro could just do voiceover afterwards.
I do know I saw a thing that Katie Sackhoff, she said that she really likes acting with the helmet on. Because she doesn't have to really worry about her face as much. So I think she is under it a lot of the time, based on that.
I mean, she might be, but I'm very curious to see where this plot line goes, because if we all remember, Bo-Katan was very much like, fuck the old ways, this is stupid, this is archaic, and Dee and I were fully on board with Bo-Katan. We were like,
I was
correct, Mando should absolutely ditch the helmet, ditch the old ways, and embrace the new ways of living, and
I think that
lead
was
Mandalore into a new future.
I think that was one of the reasons I was frustrated with last episode, because I thought that's where the show was going.
Yeah.
And it could still.
It could still, but this seems like a wicked curveball to throw in there, where he fulfills his redeemed thing, and the armorer is like, welcome back, yay, this is the way. And she's also like, Bo-Katan of Clan Kryze, you are now redeemed by right, and blah, 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 blah. This is the way. And I'm like, oh, this is weird.
Well, she could also, so this is where my mind's at, because now she could get, like, real into it. Because all she's done.
That's what I'm afraid of, is that she's going to get super into the culty bits of the Mandalorian stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, she could go like full Buddhist with this shit, not give a crap about ruling Mandalore anymore, and just say to hell with it and enjoy a life of like
also
peace and prosperity.
The first time you ever meet Bo-Katan in Clone Wars, she's part of a terrorist cell, so prone to this sort of behavior.
I mean, come on, it's different. I mean, one person says you're a terrorist, another person says you're a freedom fighter. It's a little different, depending on your point of view. I haven't seen the original material, the Clone Wars, right? The animated TV show. However, you're on the side of the clones as the viewer, and the Jedi, the Republic.
Sure.
They would view Mandalorians as terrorists and, like, at least gray-area people.
So, in Clone Wars, they have them as that was a long time ago sort of thing.
Oh, that was like long ago.
Yeah. And
we're talking like Darth. Oh, what's his name? Darth Plagueis the Wise.
I don't know when that lines up with everything.
I just wanted to.
Yeah.
It's not a tale the Jedi would tell you.
Well, I mean, I've heard it, so.
But how?
I watched the movie.
Oh, that's
yeah.
how.
They fucked up when they put out that movie. Now a whole bunch of people know about it.
Oh man, that's so weird. Why would Palpatine shoot himself in the foot like that?
It seems like a dumb decision. Now,
Super dumb decision.
It's a very high grossing movie. A lot of people saw it.
Dee, do you remember when you used to sit in and keep us on track and spin your tales about how the
this isn't that
story
off track
is great
compared to a lot of stuff? Compared to us talking about Dilbert, but
fucking Dilbert.
We're not going to talk about Dilbert.
Why did you make me defend the comics?
So, but in
Fox
Clone
Scott
Wars,
Adams, continue.
In Clone Wars, Mandalore is like a neutral kind of system that's not on either side of the war.
Has it been glassed yet, or was that an Empire thing?
Way after it's Empire.
Empire, okay.
So
continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Watch Clone Wars. The Mandalore stuff is some of the best part of that show.
I barely have time to watch the shit that
I
I'm doing
understand.
for the podcast.
This is mostly a call to action of just the internet in general.
Oh, I see.
I mean, you too, because you like Star Wars, and that's actually.
I love Star Wars.
If you watch Clone Wars and Rebels back to back all the way through, there's like some rough stuff. My problem is I keep recommending you Rebels, but the problem is, and I hate this, and it's the only show that I do this with. Rebels sort of is like once you get past like the first 20 episodes, it's pretty good. And like I hate that for everything else. And I like the first season of Rebels. But
is there a way to watch it? Like for Gravity Falls, I've managed to find a list online of like these are all the plot episodes.
I mean, Gravity
skip
Falls
everything
isn't that
else.
bad. It's like 40 episodes.
No, but like it was like these are all the episodes that are important to the plot. Skip everything else because they're filler and you don't really need them.
You could do that with Rebels, I think.
And I managed to watch like all of Gravity Falls in a weekend because of that.
You could. I rewatched it, and there's a lot of episodes I would have put on there, but that's just kind of a Rebel stan.
Grunkle stan?
Yep.
Hey kids.
That was not
terrible.
The best Grunkle stan.
Terrible. Right off the cuff, unprepared. I'll workshop it. I'll get back to you.
Yep.
I'll go to impression camp.
Also, another thing that we're sort of ignoring, we're talking about all the cult stuff. There is a gigantic TIE Interceptor fight in the beginning, too.
Oh, yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I glossed over that. Yeah, the TIE Interceptor fight was pretty fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bomber's destroying her castle, and she goes to hunt them down, and there's just like a fucking whole squadron of fighters.
Mm-hmm. And
So
specifically a squadron of TIE interceptors, not fighters.
right. They're which interceptors.
They're better. They're faster. They hit harder. They're the scary ships.
Is that canonically correct?
Yes.
Okay.
An interceptor, like if you were flying around, you saw 3 TIE fighters, and then you saw one interceptor. The interceptor's probably scarier.
Okay. I seem to remember this is definitely probably not canonical, but the Star Wars Battlefront video game that we played back in the day.
Sure.
The interceptors were kind of the weaker, like ship-on-ship combat guys. TIE fighters were a bit stronger. They had the proton torpedoes. They could take on the capital cruisers a little bit better.
In the lore, I believe that they're probably about as flimsy as each other.
But maybe the interceptor pilots are just better trained.
Yeah, and it's a faster ship.
It is much faster. That's true.
Yeah, it's like the dog fighting ship.
Yeah. The interceptor, as I said, ship on ship combat, and then if you're gonna take on the capital cruisers, you'd hop in a fighter or a bomber.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, doesn't really matter. Twin ion engine.
But
that's what TIE stands for.
Also, it was technically last episode, but I didn't like last episode. So this is the first time you see a gauntlet fighter in action, which is one of my favorite ships in Star Wars that has never been in live action before.
Bo-Katan's ship.
Mm-hmm.
You love Bo-Katan's ship. You have it. I think you have a couple of them in your X-wing collection.
It's like a $60 ship in X-wing. I bought 2 of them.
Yeah,
back to back day when they came out.
You buy X-wing fighters. I buy life-size video games from life-size guns from video games.
I even said you can't legally play 3 of them in a team because they're too much money. They're too much points in the actual game.
Yeah.
I said that if you could play 3, I would have bought 3.
Yeah. So you do like what, 2 and then like a little rebel fighter or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Or are they scum and villainy?
They're everything. They're in all the factions except for the sequels.
Fuck you. Anyway, not that it matters. Nobody cares about X-Wing that listens to this podcast.
Yeah, there's like 4 people on the planet that know what I'm talking about, and they're not listening to this.
Nope. All right, so the bombers destroy her castle, and we see the whole squadron. Now, do you have any theories who that squadron belongs to?
So I have one theory, and I don't want it to be this.
Gideon, right?
Yeah, because they talk about in the
make a point of it later in the New Republic on Coruscant,
and if it's
that Gideon escaped custody.
If it's Gideon, I'll be real upset. I'll be
dude, me
sad.
too, man. Like,
and I like Gideon. I like Moff Gideon a lot.
This is your chance. Bring us some fucking Thrawn, or something.
You see, I don't want it to be Thrawn either.
But who else has that size of an Imperial fleet at this point in time?
Who else is alive?
Because this is like fresh New Republic stuff.
I mean, it could be a new guy.
It could be, but it's going to be tough to introduce a 3rd Imperial warlord that has an entire fleet of ships.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like that's something you can't hide very easily. They passed it off with Gideon and Thrawn because those are already pre-established. But, like, I don't know how you do it a 3rd time. How do you have 3 fleets off in the middle of nowhere that the Republic never encounters?
Right. I mean, they could go Thrawn. I just feel like Thrawn, I want to be a little bit more of a... I mean, it could still be a reveal, but...
They haven't said who it is yet.
Yeah. There's a way to do it and have it be Thrawn and be exciting.
Plus, as we find out later in the whole Coruscant storyline that we'll get to in a second, Gideon's crew is kind of gone.
Yeah.
So who would man that fleet?
Yeah. All I want is it not to be Gideon because it's boring. But I don't think it's
super boring.
Yeah.
Gideon's already been defeated. He's gone.
I mean, it's Gideon or Thrawn or a new guy. I feel like I can't.
It's Ezra Bridger.
Oh, he's Empire now. I feel like that's a big. I feel like that'd be a betrayal to the fans.
And he's got a Kylo Ren helmet.
I don't think that people would like that.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
No, I think they'd hate it. But I mean, who the fuck knows? Filoni, or was it Filoni or Feige? Who's running this show? Filoni?
Yes, same thing last time.
I did.
There's a lot of F names.
There is, but like I'm pretty sure Filoni said that like they're just making up seasons as they go. So like they're just gonna keep writing shit.
They said specifically, they said that there's no
ending. Right.
So they could have stuff planned, but the way that this season started off, it's hard to tell.
I highly doubt it. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Most of the greatest TV shows ever, you go in with a couple seasons written, and then you start writing them as they get renewed, because that's how television works.
I think that a lot of the complaint is that it's like we keep doing this.
Yeah.
And like I feel like if we hadn't had a bunch of Star Wars that has had this problem, and then they said that, people would be like, oh, and then kind of move on. but that is a thing that like definitely rubbed a bunch of fans the wrong way.
Yeah, let's start a trilogy of one of the most beloved franchises ever and not know what to do with it after the first one.
I mean, it's even worse because the second one came out and everybody set the internet on fire. And then
it
they're
was
like
very 50-50.
And then they threw the third movie in the trash and made a new one really quick. Have you ever seen the script for Duel of Fates?
I refuse. Just straight up, I refuse. I don't care.
It's not that much better. I mean, it's a little bit better, but it's not that much better.
Coruscant. Who was happy to see Coruscant again, dude? Me.
I watched
fucking
this.
love Coruscant. It's one of my favorite planets in the fucking prequel trilogy.
Mm-hmm. So I was watching this.
It's my favorite map in Battlefront 2.
I'm currently living back with my dad at the moment, and in the other room was my sister and her partner watching this. And this is like after I've seen it. And I didn't know that they were watching The Mandalorian until suddenly I heard my sister just yell, Coruscant! And I was like,
Oh, Mandalorian! Coruscant! Dude, I would fucking love Coruscant. Some world building there, more stuff than just like the Jedi Temple, and then like the weird chase scene from episode 2 with the death sticks. I truly love the planet of Coruscant. I love the idea of this like planet-sized city, and like they had so much world building for Coruscant alone when they go down to the festival, and it's like, what did he say? Like 7 trillion people that live on that planet, and then there's this little like hill just in a little circle, and it's like that's the peak of the tallest mountain on Coruscant, and I'm like, oh, my first thought was, oh, Coruscant doesn't have real mountains. My second thought was, oh, they built up from the ground so far that that's the tallest mountain. Holy shit! All of those tall skyscrapers and all the speeder cars flying around, those must be in like the lower stratosphere or some shit. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no fucking way those are in atmosphere. Like, there was so much awesome Coruscant stuff in this show, and I was here for all of it. I was here for all of it. The rehabilitation program for former imps, fucking amazing. Of course they'd have something like that. Of course.
It also in terms of you talking about it, sort of like dark layers of Star Wars in it. It also kind of reads a little bit like Nazi scientists coming over to like NASA and stuff.
Dude, Operation Paperclip? Oh my God, you've heard about that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, for those of you who don't know, real quick, because Jeff's history lesson. Here we go. So after World War II ended, a lot of Nazi scientists just disappeared, and they got just disappeared. And in the 90s, I believe, or 2000s, an investigative journalist looked into it, and apparently the United States government started Operation Paperclip, where they just took those Nazi scientists and was like, hey, work for us, please. Help us beat Russia to the moon. And they did. And we did. And we beat Russia to the moon. Thank you, Nazi scientists. Hooray! Oh, man. Look into Operation Paperclip. That was like a super, super diluted TLDR version. Just look into it. I'm pretty sure there's a documentary, and there's like several books on the subject. I remember reading one of them in senior year of high school.
The TB&J podcast is not condone Nazis.
No, fuck Nazis forever. Wolfenstein is one of the best video games ever because you just slaughter Nazis all day, every day. Do you remember back when hating Nazis was not controversial, and it was like a worldwide opinion that Nazis were bad? Those were the days.
But
anyway,
what if we hear them out?
Hear him out.
Let's let Kanye on another podcast.
Fuck Kanye.
Sorry, yay.
I had to block him on Spotify because Spotify tried to recommend his music to me, and I was like, fuck you. Fuck you forever. He's the 28th most streamed artist on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
People don't give a shit. And that's fine. He makes good music, I guess. I just won't be listening to it.
That's the whole problem is when Ye and like Mel Gibson.
I refuse to call him Ye. He's Kanye.
It's fine.
He doesn't care about a little peon like me.
Also, transphobic and talked about how I didn't like people with preferred pronouns and names. So this seems weird.
And now you've got a preferred name.
Seems very weird to demand.
Mr. Ye. Yay! Go fuck yourself, Ye. Fucking anyway.
But
let's get back on track. Let's get back on track before D comes over and kills us. The Coruscant stuff. How did you enjoy seeing Katie O'Brien back? I can't remember her character's name, but the Imperial officer.
Well, I mean,
communications officer.
was she really anything before?
She was on Gideon's ship.
Yeah.
I remember seeing her in season 2. I don't remember what she was exactly.
I mean, Pershing really wasn't that much of a character before either.
No, he was in what, the pilot? Maybe episode 2?
He was in an episode of the second season, I believe. Or he's in one of the episodes where they find him in a lab. I think it's like the beginning of the second season, I think.
Because he helped work on those black robot death troopers for...
Yeah. He's in another one. But yeah, he's like you know, just kind of the skittish doctor man.
Yeah.
He's not really a whole lot of a character until this.
You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of that nerdy guy from Invincible who makes those like half-dead soldier guys. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who he reminds me of. His work was based on cloning and organ generation,
and also, you know, to everybody who thinks that, you know, there's going to be a big special event somewhere where they, you know, retcon the entire sequels. This episode seems like it's kind of arguing against that.
Yeah, that people keep saying that because they want it to be true.
That?
Yes. Definitely yes. People still think Trump's president. Are you fucking stupid?
Well, sure.
Yes, people think that. People think Ye has a point. Anyway, no. The people who think the sequels are getting retconned and getting deleted from existence are fucking stupid. Disney's making hand over fist selling Rey stuffed animals at Disney World. They don't give a shit what you think about their movies, as long as they make billions of dollars, and they do.
I just wish they didn't keep canceling them every 10 months.
I mean, new ones, yeah, but as far as 7, 8, and 9 go, they don't give a shit what you think. They don't give a fucking shit. They still made billions of dollars. Anyway, where the fuck was I going with that rant? Oh, right, Pershing.
Yeah.
And Katie O'Brien's character. I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I'm not. I was gonna say I'm not like excited to see them again, but I was like, okay, let's see.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that guy.
Yeah.
And oh, her. Like, yeah, I know you people. This is great. Also, I love if she becomes a Mando sidekick. Ditch Gina Carano for...
Well, she's gonna be bad.
Is she?
I'd assume she'd be pretty bad.
She's working with the New Republic cops to turn in former members of the Imperial Army. I mean, she helped get Pershing, and then once he was in the chair, she completely fried his brain, which is not good.
Well, I think that what they're hinting at is that she's going to take the stuff, and then this is going to like and then sort of lead to an actual explanation on why Palpatine somehow returns.
Oh my god, fuck you.
It's what it is. It's the cloning material, but like
I fucking hate you for putting that idea into the existence.
That's what it's gonna be.
No, if that's what it is, I will do something I don't want to do. I will voluntarily go and get some of that Coke Move that we drank, and force myself to drink a bottle of it. No.
They're shooting for the people when all the guys at the after the speech were talking to Pershing. That's set up for basically the New Republic is kind of not doing its due diligence, and there's a lot of people who don't care and have profiteered off of the war and kind of didn't.
We try not to get involved,
right? And if another war started off, and not to bring up everybody's least favorite part of my favorite movie of the sequels, but like Canto Bight is like a bunch of people who like sell weapons to both sides, and it seems like the same sort of people. It's supposed to set up like this is sort of how a First Order can happen.
If that's what they're gonna try to do with this series,
I don't think that's what they're gonna do with the series. I think that this is just dressing that leads into that, and you'll get it sprinkled in every show, sort of.
I might be okay with that, but moreover, I really just want Katie O'Brien's character to just join Mando, so that he has another like tough bodybuilding woman on his side that can just kick ass. Aside from Bo-Katan, who's obviously a huge badass, right, but like another Gina Carano-esque person.
I still think she's gonna be bad.
I mean, she's certainly not great. I mean,
they set her up in this to be pretty bad.
They set her up in this to be like a friend to him, and it was like, oh, she might be a sympathizer with the Imperials because how did she get those ration biscuits? And then fucking she convinces him to smuggle out the genetic thing, and it's like, oh, nope, she ratted on your ass and turned you in.
Yeah, but he wasn't doing it because he's like, I want to bring back the Empire.
No, he genuinely thought his research would help the New Republic.
Yeah.
Which is where I'm like, maybe it's kind of this weird Batman-y thing where she's like, I know what he's done. He's done some shit things. I'm going to make him pay because he's going to try to weasel out of this by helping out the New Republic. But no, fucker. You're going to pay, and this is the best way I can make it happen.
I mean, also, but like when
that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping it's some vigilante justice. I don't think that's the case, but that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, but he didn't really do anything wrong.
As far as we know.
Sure.
I mean, he could have experimented on puppies and babies.
He did something wrong. Well, he did. We actually know that he did do that because there's a baby in the show that he experimented on. But like I don't know that it seems weird to have this episode and then be like, and she's good in this kind of show.
Yeah. Maybe she can be like Red Hood, and she's just like mostly good, but still kills people. I don't know. My hope is that
Red Hood even mostly good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess eventually, yeah.
He's like neutral good.
It depends. I guess it depends on where you're talking in his story.
He's lawful neutral. He follows the law, and he just murders bad guys. Yeah, he murders bad guys, which is not strictly within the confines of the law. But like, he doesn't want anarchy. He doesn't want like Two-Face like rise up and take the power and fuck the authorities.
I don't know. Anyway, this is not a Batman podcast as much as you want it to be.
I want it to be. The brave and the pod. The pod and the bold? I'll workshop it.
But
Pod man.
So yeah, I think this is a whole episode of like, this is how you get a first order, and this is how you get
It's possible.
Yeah.
I don't think she alone has any sort of resources.
Sure.
So she might go to Gideon or Thrawn with this.
But she does have seemingly people in the New Republic that are cool with it, because when they get caught, they're like, yeah, we caught him. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, that makes you think that she's working with them. Like, they clearly know who she is, and like, she or maybe she went to them and was like, hey, this is happening, please help me, I'm gonna lure him into a trap and I need you guys to spring it. Maybe that's what it was. Or it could have been like she's been working with them all along, and that's why when they were in the room she got left alone at the controls because they trusted her.
Or there's a lot of people who came from the Empire who were like, kinda wish there was an Empire back.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
that's definitely where like top brass in the First Order came from.
mm-hmm. Just
from like their age in episode 7, they have to have been like former Imperials towards the end.
Well, Hux is this is a little bit of lore that I know. Hux,
he's the spy.
Hux is the spy.
Oh man!
But also, Hux is like
I'm the spy.
Hux is like the son of an Imperial like soldier. So he's like, my dad was great and he did great stuff. And
my dad was great and I'm a spy.
I think his dad sucks. I think his dad sucks to him, but he's still like, I still kind of want there to be an Empire.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he wants there to be an Empire right up until the very end.
Yeah, up until he just wants Kylo lose.
That's such a stupid movie. Fucking stupid movie. No, but that I loved all of the Coruscant.
Would you say you like that more than Rogue One?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You're looking around like you're still thinking about it.
I am thinking about it because there was that stupid kiss between Kylo and Rey.
Rogue One's more confident. Skywalker is something else, but
Rogue One wasn't written in a day over like a tequila and Coke bender. So like, I'll give it that, but like, Rogue One's pretty terrible. 9 is also pretty terrible. The dagger lines up with the ruins of the Death Star and points... No, fuck all of that. That's so fucking stupid. Anyway. Where the fuck was I going with this? The Coruscant stuff was awesome. I loved that she like completely fried his brain at the end, and he was so upset at the betrayal. That was some great acting.
I do have a question, though, about the Mind Flare. Why, if they're like, oh, this is a different sort of thing... And it didn't seem like the Calamaran dude was in on it.
I don't think he was in on it. So it's like actual electroshock therapy.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I'm saying if they're like, oh, we figured out that we can actually use this beneficially if we just, don't have the high voltage. Why would they keep the dial going up to such high voltage?
Man, I don't know.
It seems like an oversight that they're like, it can be a torture device if we want it to be.
I got it for you right here.
Go for it.
Because anybody could be on that table, and people might have less conductive skin than humans. You might need to break through a bigger shell. You might need a stronger pulse to do the same job.
That's not that bad of an explanation. I'll give it to you.
Boom! There you go.
All right.
Anything's possible with fucking aliens in the world, dude.
That's not wrong. I am also happy about that. One thing that I like about this episode is that I feel like a bunch of Star Wars stuff that we've got recently, there's never aliens anymore. Like, yeah, I feel like there's like very few scenes where like there's Obi-Wan walking
at least
around.
There's a lot of humans and humanoids.
Yeah,
like Twi'leks, which look like people. They just have like head tentacles.
Boba Fett has way too many humans in it. Obi-Wan had too many humans except for like the middle episodes where they're in the city. This was like full on. Here's a bunch of different aliens that live in Coruscant. And I'm like, and like when they're on the and I don't even think the guy on the train looked that good. He looked okay.
Thursdays, am I right?
I don't know how I feel about that line.
Fucking, and they did it twice.
Yeah,
they did it fucking twice. They had a fucking Mondays joke. Get the fuck out of here with that.
I do appreciate the confidence of it, but I don't know if I like the actual joke. But yeah, this
how
is
much
more...
do they have to pay Katie O'Brien to look deadpan and say thongs days, am I right? And then do like a fucking Jim from The Office like camera look and shrug, like fuck off, god damn it. This is not The Office in space.
I mean, it does like. I've seen some this could be in an episode of Rebels, and I feel like it wouldn't be that out of place.
In the animated children's cartoon, for sure. It could be.
Disney XD, yes.
Yeah. Not in the Mandalorian.
Right.
It's a different audience.
If this was an Andor, it'd be fucking wild.
It might hit better in Andor, because that's a darker, more serious show.
That actually could have been pretty funny in Andor.
Yeah. I don't know. It just felt weird and out of place, and I was like, "Oh, did they really just do a Mondays joke?" Like my fiance was in the kitchen, like cooking herself some breakfast, and I was watching the show on the couch, and they did that, and I watched her head poke out, and she was like, "Did they just do a Mondays joke?" And I was like, "They sure did, honey. I don't know what the fuck that was, but they sure did." And she's like, "This is still Star Wars, right?" And I was like, "Yup, sure is."
But consider this. What if Han Solo says the line? It's not that bad.
When the coolest, sexiest guy in the galaxy says it, of course it's going to be cool.
Well, Lando is the coolest, sexiest guy in the galaxy.
No. Did you watch the same episode 9 I did?
I watched the same... Well, episode 9's different.
Well, let's find out.
Well, listen, he's still the sexiest guy in the universe because Han Solo's dead.
That line was dripping with sex. Oh, my God. I fucking
If you're
love
going
Lando.
off Empire, then it's Lando.
Sure, but that was 1983. Different rules applied.
He's still Billy D. Williams.
He's still Billy D. Williams. I'll give him that. He was still fucking Harvey Dent in 1989's Batman.
And then they made him Tommy Lee Jones, which is a choice. Those two
different
guys,
Batman.
Well,
different universe.
Kind of.
That was Val Kilmer.
Yeah, but it was still like kind of a spiritual sequel. It's like a weird kind of like things are carried over. The four of them are kind of together.
If there's a different guy under the cowl, it's a different thing.
I don't know if I agree with that, but I because then the next one is cloning.
Okay.
But then a bunch of the other characters, the Robins and stuff like that, are all carried over. There's the same Alfred in all four movies.
Okay. Easter eggs. Casting shortage in Hollywood. I don't fucking know. We need more old white guys. Oh man, we're fresh out in LA.
That is a problem that we're running into. Not enough old white guys.
Yeah, we need more old white guys in America.
Fuck.
Let's import some more. Let me go head down to Bass Pro Shops, see if I can find a couple.
Does England have any more old white guys we can take?
Too fucking many old white guys, in jolly old England.
Is Boris Johnson old enough?
Oh, fuck you.
Is he coming over? He's unemployed at the moment, right?
I hope so. I hope he stays unemployed forever. Fuck that clown.
Old Boris.
Why did you say it like a fucking narrator?
Old Boris.
You're like an old narrator reading a children's book
We
about
all
Boris
love
Johnson.
jolly old Boris.
Jesus.
Them's the breaks.
Do you remember lockdown when I had that rager at my house? That
and
was
that's
great.
the thing he got in trouble for. Anyway, we can't talk about Boris Johnson. We can't.
Oh my god. That's it, I think, for Mandalorian.
Is it?
Bo-Katan, is she going to take her helmet off? What do you think? She thinks she's going to buy into it?
I am more convinced that she buys into
D, I'm
it.
sorry. I'm so sorry, man. I'm sorry.
I feel like we got a lot of it out of the way before our nonsense.
we have to have a timer. We have to make sure we get it all out of the way.
We should have a nonsense timer. Like once it hits a certain time, we're allowed to do a little bit of nonsense.
Alexa, set a timer for 30 minutes.
Well, we're gonna be done by then.
Yeah, there it goes.
I hope that picked up.
I don't know if you know this. I have cat mode on my Alexa, so whenever I ask it to do something, it's like, Alexa, set a timer. It goes, meow, timer set for 30 minutes. Like, it always meows before it's a cat mode that I enabled. So it's great because I ask Alexa for the weather when I wake up for work, and I'll do that, and my cat will wake up from a dead sleep and just stare at it, and then she'll go back to sleep, and it always makes
you're
me
just
giggle.
being rude to your cat then.
Basically.
Right.
I'm just a monster.
But I am more convinced that Bo will kind of buy into it, and Din will start to realize that this is kind of fucked up, and then she'll be like too far in and be like, look at all the stuff you went through to get back here. Listen, you can't turn your back now.
Do you think the mythosaur was real?
Yeah.
Okay, me too.
In fact, I from all
they kind of alluded to it maybe not being, because Din didn't know what she was talking about.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, everything we've seen
Din is
implies
stupid.
that he's dumb.
He was also drowning,
Yeah,
so like he probably,
drowning and dumb.
drowning and dumb.
Not a good combination.
No, bad combination for life expectancy.
It is. I do love how dumb he is, though.
You're walking into a ruined lake with steps going down it. You wouldn't think to like feel around and make sure there was another step below you before plunging down miles into the earth. Not the earth, but I guess the ground. Oh my god.
Mandalorian, yeah.
Mandalorian. I hate you so much.
All right, that's about it. I think we can wrap up after that one. I think that's the closing joke.
So you
right?
think Bo is gonna buy in, Din is gonna buy out?
Yeah, I think that they're.
And Thrawn is gonna come in with his squad? It sure as hell ain't Gideon.
No, it'd be dumb.
I think if Gideon's captured and his communications officer and head scientist are in the rehab program.
My thought is
hang on. His officer and his scientist are in the rehab program.
Mm-hmm.
Gideon got taken away, and rumor has that he escaped custody. That's all fine and dandy. I don't think his fleet is sticking around. It's like a failing business. As soon as the guy who signs the checks stops coming in, everybody else scatters.
I want to see Gideon again. I want to see Gideon in season 5, though.
Sure, maybe give him a beard.
Sure, I would love
Apparently that's all the rage, is to give an actor a beard.
If he shows up now, I'll be like, oh, we're doing Gideon again. If he shows up next season or the season after that, I'll be like, oh my god, Gideon's back.
Do you think
that's what
Thrawn would be allies or enemies?
No, Thrawn would get sick of Gideon's shit real fucking fast. I think.
Just want to kill him?
I don't think kill him. I think that he'd be more...
Because they're both Empire, right?
Yeah.
So
I think that Thrawn would be more upset that Gideon keeps killing people.
Does Thrawn have a sense of morality? Like that?
Not really, but Thrawn's more of a big picture guy. Like, he's sort of like I was watching it with a friend. She kept getting frustrated because she thought he was just too fucking laid back all the time, and he kept losing and was just like, "It's cool, bro. Don't worry." But he's more of we can let the rebels escape a few times because why kill 6 rebels when we can kill 600 later kind of guy. And he never really was super super disciplinary to a bunch of the Empire. because he's just like, yeah, if I fucking kill this guy, I'll have one less guy for later. He's a little bit more like calculating.
I think I enjoy that more. I'm excited to see him make his appearance in Mandalorian. It's definitely going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
My only fear.
Yes?
Sorry, okay.
That's fine.
My only fear is, are we entering a time where, and it's all extended universe stuff. You need to know Star Wars lore eventually. But like, are we entering a time where if you didn't watch Rebels, you're not going to know what's happening?
No, because I think Disney is smart enough to know that not all of their adult audience that's watching Mandalorian has seen Rebels. There's a lot of people watching Mandalorian, like my dad, that just grew up with the original trilogy. They watched the prequels, thought they were okay, thought they were awful, whatever they thought, and then just like kind of blacked out and missed everything else in between. But then they're like, oh, this streaming service I have because my kids or my grandkids love watching Disney movies, Mandalorian's on there. I recognize that armor. Let me watch. Right. I think there's a big chunk of the audience that's like that. That's just diving into Mandalorian. And it's like their first dose of Star Wars in a while.
It's like when I was watching Solo in theaters, and my parents turned to me and were at the very end, spoilers, when Darth Maul shows up.
Yeah.
And they were like, whoa, so is this like before Phantom Menace? And I was like, what? No. What? And then they're like, yeah, but he died. And I went, oh, okay, well, listen,
right.
I was like, do you want the explanation? Do you want to know what a Night Sister is, or do you want to just fucking leave it?
Fuck all of that. But I think they're gonna do a pretty good job of explaining who these people are in the moment. Because remember, the eyes of the viewer are through Din Djarin, who, as we've established many times, is an idiot.
Sure.
And also, he's an ignorant idiot. All he knows, basically, is the Mandalorian creed and how they live their life. He doesn't really care about much else. So anyone else that walks into his life, it's going to have to be explained to him. Mm-hmm. So by extension, it'll get explained to us, the viewer.
And
people like you are going to point like at the screen, Leo DiCaprio.
Yeah, right.
And be like, oh, it's that guy. But then people like me are going to be like, oh, who?
I'm wondering how the Ahsoka show is going to go, because I feel like the Ahsoka show is going to be more of like this season 5 of Rebels.
The rumor has it that the Ahsoka show is going to pick up where Rebels left off.
Right, and I think that they've casted a Sabine Wren, I think.
They have. Sabine Wren got cast, Ahsoka got cast, and I believe Katie Sackhoff said she'll be in it as Bo-Katan.
Because she knows them.
Yep, so, I mean, it's going to be your Rebels Season 5, and you're going to have a great time, and I'm so happy for you. I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to be like, all right, bring me up to speed, Filoni.
All right, so they went into outer space, and they found some kid. Well, you won't be a kid anymore, but...
Found some young adult who's just annoying.
Oh, he's got a lightsaber. Nice.
Oh, yeah, I know what that is. Cool.
Who's this? Who are they talking about? Who's this Kanan guy they're talking about? They seem like they really cared about him.
Great. But yeah, so I'm curious to see how they even approach Ahsoka for standard viewers that didn't... A lot of viewers, their first exposure to Ahsoka was just seeing her show up in Mando. Mm-hmm. They were like, oh, who's this? Oh, white lightsabers. This is awesome.
You're not going to be real excited to see a Zeb Orrelios or a Hera Syndulla, a Chopper maybe?
I'm convinced you're making up words. That concludes this episode of the Mandalorian podcast.
Maybe an Alexander Callis.
This is the TB&J podcast coverage of Mandalorian, not the Mandalorian podcast. I don't know if I can call us the Mandalorian podcast. I'm pretty sure Filoni would sue my ass and have me for breakfast. If you liked what you heard, leave us a kind review on your favorite podcasting platform. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like our YouTube videos. Make sure you properly wipe your ass after a shit. That's all I've got for you. Goodbye, everybody.
Outro. Are you interested in AP5?
I was happy to see R5D4 show up.
What if I told you?
What a reference.
What if I told you in Rebels, AP5 is a droid that sounds just like Alan Rickman, but isn't Alan Rickman?
Hello.
Almost exactly.
Shut up.
You just did an AP5 impression.
Thank you for listening to the TB&J podcast. Please open your potions textbooks and turn to page 394.
You got it, AP5.